My time has come, we've had some fun. I had it all and I thought I'd won.
Hey guys, this is Rich with Walmart Hall of Fame inductee 2022. Sit back and relax. Here comes Dave B, Timmy D, and your host, Tony B.
One more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen, episode number 77. My name's Tony B. Alongside me, as usual, is David B. And Timmy D's out today, filling in as Hall of Fame number one inductee, Johnny B. John Brocket, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Tony. Thanks for having me on. And Timmy D's a little under the weather, so wish him well. He says he's going to recover quickly. So.
Number one inductee, and also number one in our hearts, the biggest lefty, John Brocket.
The biggest lefty.
I don't know. I might be mistaken, but that band sounded very familiar. That
is that where you're headed, right?
We are
be there.
We are headed to West Virginia today to go watch them tonight, and tomorrow night.
The band is Bella's Bartok.
Boom. Yep. So we'll catch up with Johnny B. We have a couple topics this morning. First, we'll catch up with Johnny B. and see what he's up to. Number two, trucking industry stats. There's some nice stats coming out. Shows some nice increases in gains for the trucking companies altogether. Number two, peak season, shipping season's upon us. David B., being in the position he's in, can give us some insights to that. Remember, we're just three Americans discussing the topics that affect the transportation industry. The views of us three are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any entity or anyone that uses a trucking provider or transportation provider. David B., we do it for what?
The transportainment.
That's right. Transportainment. Boom, baby. You can catch us on Google, Rumble. Just Google our name in the search engine and you can catch us on one of the podcast platforms. Speaking of that, our number one podcast platform right now is YouTube and Spotify.
So if you go on YouTube, smash that like button, click subscribe, and follow us on YouTube and spread the word, if you would.
Absolutely. And David B., it's a beautiful Saturday morning. How are you doing?
Good Saturday morning to the both of you guys. Good to have the biggest lefty, John Brocket, in studio with us today. Always good to have that original Hall of Famer with us.
Yeah.
Beautiful Saturday morning. It's going to be a good day for a nice long trip to West Virginia here in a little bit. Didn't drive through downtown this morning coming over. I kind of had to go around the south side to pick up Big Lefty and bring him over here. So I had no update on how things are looking with the construction downtown, but it is a beautiful Saturday morning, episode number 77 already.
Man, right?
77.
John Brocket.
Congratulations.
John Brocket, how are you today, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. I'm glad to be here.
Do you know what day it is? I mean, living that retired life.
I'll tell you. I say the only appointment I have to make now is a tea time. Other than that, I don't have to be anywhere at any certain time. So that's
Are there days that you wake up where you're like,
yeah. What day is this? Yeah.
Do you ever wake up and say, man, did I enter that call note yesterday?
Yeah. Right. No, I do have I have some nightmares sometimes about forgetting to enter my call notes or something like that. But at any rate, no, I'm happy to be here. I want to learn a little bit about what's going on in the trucking industry. Obviously, I'm detached from it. I'm more of an observer now.
Yeah,
and I'll share something with you guys though that I drove to Texas a couple of weeks ago. My wife and I, family.
Your mom lives in Texas.
My
right?
mom lives in Texas, and we have a lot of. It seems like now in our life, it's a lot of family things going on. There's either weddings or new babies or birthdays or something like that going on, and there's always family get-togethers to go to, and that would either be in Wisconsin or in Florida, where my son lives, or in Texas or what have you. Anyway, observation: driving from Indianapolis to Dallas, I saw more trucks on the road, I think, than I've ever seen in my life.
I know.
I couldn't believe it. There was a stretch of I-40 where you didn't even see any cars. It was just truck after truck after truck after truck.
When Susan,
and it seemed to me like it's sorry, Dave. It seemed to me like it's almost like the supply chain is trying to get caught up. It almost felt that way, and now you hear what the Fed chair says that he's trying to like curtail. Now they want to even it up, supply and demand, and it's been there's been too much demand and not enough supply, and we're going back and forth. But I'll tell you what, these guys out there on the road are doing their jobs, and they're hustling. They're out there.
Well said, Big Lefty. Well said.
Yeah.
Susan Bliss made the exact same comment when she sat in that chair a couple weeks ago, if you'll remember. She made the exact same comment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that goes into what David's probably topic is, and mine too. Those stats bear out what you just described there, as far as like the volume. Because you're right. Because when we were kids, I mean, remember you'd hold your hand up for the trucker to. You'd have to wait for a truck, right? It's not like one rolled by every time.
Exactly.
Now your arm would be tired, right?
Right.
There's so many of them.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
It really is. Really is.
But there's been some interesting stats here. You guys want to get into?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into topic number 1 here. Yeah, a little funky jive for you, Johnny B.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah. I like it. So some good stats here.
On my Waze app, I have 70s DJ, and this would be perfect with good 70s
that's
DJ.
really, that's hilarious.
Absolutely.
I heard a 70s song earlier this week when I was driving, checking AM sports talk shows out.
It's the Tony Bubnick Trio this morning.
It's like, do the hustle.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. I hadn't heard that song since I was a kid. I'm like, wow. I was jamming out to it in Wabash, Indiana.
Tony was doing the hustle in Wabash.
Yeah. So we'll get into topic number 1. So here's some interesting trucking stats and insight. I got this off of trucking.org. It's a website you can go to. So the first half of 2020, so it's 2022. So now they've compiled all the 19, 20, 21 data, right? And they can take a look at it. So the first half of 2021 presented an unprecedented slowdown in the global supply chain. And no one probably felt that more in this room than David, right?
Yes.
From what he does. So it continues to reverberate in our system up until this point. Nearly 18 months since the pandemic was declared, we're still seeing major gaps in the distribution supply chain. So here's some interesting stats. The trucking industry did basically have a pretty good couple of years there with the percent of growth. The increased demand and supply bottlenecks have created strong tailwinds for the trucking industry, which will help offset cost operations factors such as increased driver compensation, regulatory fees, and fuel costs. Trucking represented 80.4% of the total U.S. freight cost.
Wow.
Is that amazing?
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Totaling a gross revenue of $791 billion.
With a B.
Yeah. So then trucks move 67.7% ground freight between the U.S. and Canada, 83% with Mexico, for a total of $772 billion. Employment was up 140,000 to 7.95 million people employed in the trucking transportation industry. 91.3% of the fleets are 6 or fewer trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
And the average cost I heard of an ocean container has gone from $6,000 to over $30,000.
Yeah.
So these people that were bringing in overseas material are paying a lot. And who do they have to pass that on to?
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
The consumer.
The consumer. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So David's paying more for raw material purchasing, right?
Yes.
And then you got to survive as your company. You're going to have to offset that. And
we did some bids this week about bringing raw materials in from Mexico. Normally they come in from Canada, but that supplier can't keep up. So now, we were quoting out bringing that product in from Mexico. The transportation to come from Mexico City was $7,300.
Okay. But it's still coming on a truck or a train, most likely.
It would be a truck. Yeah.
Okay.
It would. Yeah.
So what's the price difference from Canada to Mexico?
So we let the Canadian vendor,
Pay
for whatever
for it.
reason, they handle it. But if we do it out of Mexico, I'll be the one arranging it. So it's like $7,300, and it's from Mexico City. I mean, and
it doesn't sound bad.
It doesn't. And that also, they would what's the word I'm looking for? not transpond. They would transfer the load once it crosses the
Cross
border.
border.
It would transfer onto another truck and come this way. So,
Wow.
but anyway,
No, that's cool. I mean, so you basically, so when you look at your supply chain, David, have how many changes have you made like that?
just not very many, just a few. I mean, we're terrible about getting our product out, and it's difficult for them to get us raw materials, and that's part of the reason why. But I mean, everybody's this way.
So is it still slowed down to you, like John's saying, like what he's
about getting raw materials? Yeah, business hasn't slowed down
Yeah.
at all.
because you guys have grown, right, quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
our numbers are up 40+%. from
That's
this time
awesome,
last
man.
year. So yeah,
um,
talking about expanding.
no kidding.
New production line that's definitely going in within the next year. Yep, it's growing.
Yeah, and I think the supply chain issue is a big cause of this inflation that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get it under control.
Right.
But economically, overall, I don't think anybody needs to panic because companies like Dave's are doing well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They're just having a hard time keeping up and then having to raise prices on it. And this is across the board, guys, right? All prices have to be raised to keep
Yeah.
up. And then you throw the cost of fuel, oil going up. It exasperates the
Right.
whole
Yeah.
the whole issue. But I think overall, you're going to see companies saying that they're showing pretty good balance sheets and they're making money and profits are decent and people are working. There's not a huge unemployment issue going on. So overall, there are some good things in the future.
I think
believe.
you're right. I mean, and what you're talking there reminded me of just like David, and John, before you retired, what we had gone through with COVID. I mean, just the battles that the companies had to fight, right?
Right.
When you look at it, it's a pretty big battle.
Yeah.
And then a lot of these companies helped floated people through the COVID, didn't lay people off. A lot of did, though. Some did have to, but
Right.
I guess we're lucky to be in the industry we're in because it didn't really affect us too much at all, really. So
Right. If anything, it might have boosted
exactly,
demand.
right. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Made the truck swell up a little more, didn't it?
Right.
You ever see
Right.
the trucks that like the sides are bulged out? Do you know
Oh,
what
yeah.
that's from?
I don't
It's
actually.
the deck bars.
Oh, okay.
So
They've got so much freight on them that they're pushing
they're
the sides
yeah,
out.
right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
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 Those are the guys that try to avoid the way stations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They don't fit right down this. You couldn't take one of those
Right.
trailers to the truck driving championship,
Yes,
right? Because
that's
you
right.
might knock
That's right.
a mothball off the cone.
I do need to work on one of those winners being on the show. I'm going to work on that
On the
on our podcast.
Oh,
One
yeah.
from the National Truck.
Oh,
Driving
yeah, it'd be
Championship.
awesome, man.
I
Do that
need to
live.
work on that.
Yeah.
Be fun to hear about all the different contests that they do and that
Yep.
type of thing. Because we always read about it and who won, and
Right.
but to actually be there and talk to somebody that's done it and what they all get tested on, et cetera, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Well, it's like you said that they do get. I didn't know this until David brought it up last week. And I looked into like what the competition. I didn't know there was mechanic competitions.
Yeah, I
There
didn't
were safety competitions. There were not just the driving portion.
Right.
Kind of like they do the tow motor.
Yeah. I think there's a tow motor.
Yeah, there's a tow
competition.
motor one too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like these dudes pick up a quarter. Can you do that, David? You've had a lot of experience with tow motor.
No.
Can you pick a quarter up off the?
No.
That's
No,
hilarious.
just slam it and go.
Let's
Let's go.
Oh,
We used
man.
to, at my old job, we would have, like where I work now, they think 40 trucks in 1 week is like, when we would do 40 trucks before lunch,
Yeah.
just.
That's a lot of trucks, man.
But
Right.
anyway, yeah, it's just years and years and years of
Yeah.
just every day, same day, Groundhog Day.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Got to move these refrigerators. Got to
That's
move
right.
these color
Oh,
TVs.
yeah, right.
Bam,
Color
bam, bam,
TVs.
bam, bam.
So then,
Sounds like lyrics to a song.
oh yeah.
Wrote a song about it, like the hit. Here it goes.
Boom. So so there's a couple more stats and we'll get through this. The size of the truckload market grew 1.6 to 193 billion. Size of the less than truckload has grown from 76 billion to 80 billion. 2021 market size of the less than truckload industry in the United States is expected to reach over 80 billion, which I just said that. Drivers' wages increase. We talked about that last week. 26% of all trucking costs is spent on fuel alone.
Right.
I believe it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a quarter of the
it's-
cost.
That's huge.
Holy cow.
That's huge.
Insurance premiums have rose. We talked about that. A lot of these things on this list we talked about on
That's
this
why
show.
That's why they wrote the story.
They got it from the Ship's Gonna Happen. So trucks bring everything. I'll finish it up here. So trucks bring everything from raw materials, forest mines, farms, transported on a truck. The most items as a whole on a truck, 82.7% of agriculture products are brought in on a truck. 92% dairy, fruit, vegetables, and nuts on a truck. Pharmaceuticals, 65%. Lumber and wood products, 91.9. Of all the trucks that the statistics here, Freightliner, Peterbilt, Kenworth, and International are the most used, which was interesting because we asked truck drivers usually that we interview, what do they drive? And
Truck.
yeah, that's right. And they usually go through a list, don't they? And they talk about which ones are
Right. What they've had, what they like the best.
Yeah. So we'll need 1.1 more million new drivers, according to the American Trucking Association.
By when, or just right now, or
To cover up what's going to retire. And the average age is 46. I thought it would be higher than that.
this week, friend of the show, Rich Warren, put out a video. It was talking about Walmart needing 30 drivers like now,
Oh,
right now, out of Gas City.
Holy cow.
Do what you can. Try to get a hold of Rich or whoever, and get a job at Walmart.
Gas City, here we come. Gas City. Yeah. So Rich Warren, huh?
Yep.
Rich Warren. He's the voice of Ship's Gonna Happen.
That's right. He is. He does a great job.
But all right, so let's get into number 2 here. David B. hitting them heavy.
Oh, no, go ahead. That's all right. I'm just listening to the music. It's all good. So our stories tie in pretty well together this week. So mine's kind of about the whole world economy. It's vulnerable to all these interruptions and disruptions. And driving over here last week, one of the things I failed to mention is that China's getting ready to, or they still have congestion problems and issues with getting containers filled because they've been experiencing a heat wave also. They're in like their 70th day of straight heat waves, and they've had to close down factories because they're not equipped to handle this heat, and it's not customary for them. So, when their factories get shut down for 70 consecutive days, and then they're also getting ready to go into a holiday week at the first week of October. So that's just going to kind of where more ships aren't going to be sailed and getting filled. So there's disruptions in China also, and those Chinese disruptions definitely affect what the world is, just add to the world's disruptions also.
Yeah, and I'd have to think that container prices, basically quadrupling, that's got to affect the product coming out of. There's got to be people that have said, I can't afford to bring it over here anymore,
Right.
based on that.
Yep.
So that's got to be an issue too, I would think.
Definitely. And it's peak season, Christmas. It's time to, people are starting to shop for Christmas now. So, and the stores are going to be filling up quick. And a lot of these container ships, that's what they've got on them, all the Christmas stuff. So
You think people need to plan early, David?
as they always should. Yeah. And so, there's disruptions worldwide, and like I said, China's being shut down due to the heat because they can't handle it. I mean, they're just not equipped to handle it.
It's out there like there's what they're saying, like the heat of the
70 consecutive days.
Whoa, really?
I think they'd make them work in that. You'd think they'd just say,
not to sound insensitive, but
Yeah.
you would think that they would be like, just get to getting.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is a culture that built a great
Great
wall,
wall.
right? I mean,
How old
Right.
do you think that Great Wall is?
there you go. I don't know, but I mean,
Very.
that's not a culture that seems to be very concerned about their employees.
no, I mean, in
Right.
America, I hired a lot of Chinese labor early on, and it's right in its foundation. I think the Hoover Dam was
Yeah.
a lot of the things built on the West Coast was China labor. But David, that ship report, it looks like it did bounce up. So there was it's been running at 70. MX SoCal Marine Exchange ship report 826, 81 total ships import, 25 loitering, 56 at berth, 23 are container ships, 1 at anchor. I mean, we were seeing what, like 140, 130.
Yep.
So maybe they're in good, but it looks like it's bounced up though, because they were in the 7. Well, it bounced up to 81 here. Anyway.
Yeah, and I know I'm speaking out of knowledge, but I did hear somewhere that they've created some new equipment that helps them offload quicker.
Yeah, there's
some stuff going on that's helping that as well. So
little controversy with that
Yeah.
too.
Uh-huh.
It's taking away the labor, So that
Well-
was, are those negotiations done? I'm assuming they're done.
I think they are. Yeah, they didn't go on strike, right? So I think
right.
they're either progressed or done. But yeah, David was alluding to the fact that they don't want some of that equipment. So some part of the reason that it's the way it is they won't let the automated equipment come on the ground,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
they can automatically unload them.
sure.
Mhm.
We've seen equipment that does that. There's a guy that or gal that does the remote control like a drone
Right.
and just drives these vehicles and unloads them.
Right.
Yeah, you would think.
Well, I don't care what you do as for a job anymore. You've got to be concerned that they're going to want to automate your job away
Yeah,
somehow,
right.
some
hell-
way.
The
And
hell
that's
they will.
that's well, I mean, it's it's a fact of life.
Well, I mean-
no, I agree.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody
Well, it's a good
working
point.
that doesn't,
Right.
is not immune to the idea that they might be automated out.
Right.
Well, you go back to like the clock towns back in the day, right?
Mhm.
And so you
You
had
mean the clock tower.
the clock towers. So
Mhm.
what they had, like back in the day, they had someone work 10 hours, wind the clock at the end of their shift.
Right.
Next person comes in. So there's several clock people coming in, right? Now there's
Mhm.
0, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they used to have several of them do it. And then they went to one a day, right?
It used to
It's
be
0.
It used to be somebody that delivered milk.
Right.
doesn't happen
that's true.
anymore.
Right? Well, you know what? It does.
Does it? Okay.
There's a company.
It's making a comeback.
yes.
Don't call it a comeback.
Oh my gosh. We should give them a shout out. Oberwise.
Oh, okay.
Oberwise. And they have some of the best lemonade you've ever seen. We should get them to be a sponsor.
We should.
Yeah.
You need to work on that.
I will.
See if they'll- hey,
because
see
I
if-
drink their lemonade.
Hey, see if they'll deliver some during the show.
Oh,
we can give them a
yes.
shout out that
That
way.
would be,
yeah, if they
that
would
would be
do-
unbelievable.
Yeah.
They deliver over here milk
Oh.
to the neighbor over here gets their milk.
Is there
Uh-huh.
a box outside for the milkman?
He takes-
Remember, there used
no.
to be a box outside.
He heads in. Sometimes he doesn't come right out. No, I'm
Okay,
kidding.
yeah, right.
Tony Wade.
He knocks on the door and she comes and grabs it.
The milk.
Or
Yes,
he
the milk.
the milk,
The
that
milk,
is.
yes.
And or he leaves it on the steps.
Right, the milk.
But they still do it. They're out of Chicago, actually.
Oberwise.
Yeah.
Why is
Okay.
that name familiar?
You probably heard of them.
I've seen their
before.
trucks around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
delivering milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be damned.
They will not deliver lemonade.
Yeah.
Milk only.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it's still that. So and it's farm like fresh milk or whatever.
Moo.
It does taste.
Milky.
I will say their chocolate. They make chocolate milk, lemonade, pink lemonade, and regular milk. And everything I've had is
Hashtag
really
not sponsored.
good. Yeah, hashtag not sponsored. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it'd be nice to have that sponsored.
Hey, this is on a little different topic here, but have you guys noticed when you go to the supermarket how many employees are there in the aisles loading up groceries in
Yes.
bins
Yes.
for people that I don't think people go to the grocery store anymore because I'm like the only guy in there pushing a cart around,
yeah.
and I look around,
Perv.
and there's right. Well, I'm not like Fonzarelli, like
Yeah,
slamming my
yes.
cart
There
into
you
some
go.
good-looking
Yeah, that's right.
woman. But at any rate, out of bounds, Brocket. Anyway, have you guys noticed though that I don't think anybody shops themselves anymore in these, like the Kroger over by my house.
Mhm.
They've got a bunch of young workers in there, and all they're doing all day is loading up bins of people's orders.
Right.
They go online, they order their groceries. I mean, to me, I've never seen it this much. I know it started, it was kind of, but now it's rampant.
I think
That's
you're
a
right.
great observation. That's a great observation.
That's
see it
all I
the
do
time,
anymore
too.
is observe, Dave.
I'm just here to observe. You got
I'm
no
just here
skin
to
in the game.
observe.
And here with this week's observations, Big Lefty.
This segment, no skin in the game from Johnny B.
That's awesome.
So what were you saying, David?
I don't know what I was saying. Lemonade, and I don't know nothing. I don't know.
Slamming
I'm
carts
ready
into
to-
good-looking women at the
Right,
grocery store, that
right.
kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
got my football scores up from last night, so whatever we want to keep talking about. I don't
Well, yeah,
care.
no. So back to what you're saying, though.
Oh, yeah.
So
This is the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast.
there we go. Yeah, we should get a.
What are you going to talk a little high school football?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
we'll
we
get
got quite.
We got some stuff.
I got some questions for Big Lefty. So
Okay.
yeah, let's
Well, another thing we got to talk about is Tom Brady
Yes.
supposedly playing tonight against the
Mhm.
Colts. It'll be their highest,
But he's not been in training camp.
right? It'll be the highest female-attended Colts game
There
of the
we go.
year. It's a
Yeah.
preseason game,
right.
so
Are you going? Oh, yeah, you're not going because you're going to West
No,
Virginia.
no. But
Duh.
listen to this: my wife and her friend are going.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So
It's a
How
female,
many-
female friend?
female friend. Yeah. So how? Yeah. So how many other similar scenarios are going to be occurring tonight? Tom Brady.
Do they like? Is that
They-
what? Is one
I
of the-
think they like Tom Brady.
Yeah,
I think they like him.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But there was rumors. Well, hang on. We'll get into. Well, did we have anything else with that topic?
No,
No.
we didn't. I know.
I just threw that.
I
out
barely.
There.
I barely
I
got.
just threw that out there.
Yes, the that way go off rail is more important than
Yeah.
us talking about what's going on in China.
right. Right.
Just my own opinion.
right.
I don't think anyone's tuning in today to say, well, I wonder what's going on in China.
So, David,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in China?
Nothing. Yeah. Say they're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave.
Is that unnormal for China though?
It is abnormal.
Because I wouldn't think
It's
latitude.
because I mean it's that hot where they have to shut factories down.
Wow.
For 70 plus days. So
Now I heard in when they had the Olympics in Beijing that they actually cloud seeded to keep rain from
Right. I heard
coming
that
in.
too.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
to keep it from
Yeah, they didn't
coming
want it
in?
raining on the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
A lot of them are outdoor. A lot of the
Maybe,
yeah.
okay.
So they actually kept the rain away for. They control everything over there. They control the weather. They control everything.
Control your mind.
Control your mind.
Yeah.
John Brocket did tell me about a ad. So we were talking about the truck that I had rented to come over here, and that there's a new car
Oh, yeah.
app or a new car rental kind of
Yeah,
app.
and it's called Turo.
Mhm.
Turo. I don't have any.
Not sponsored.
I don't have any stock in it or anything. I'm not.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. But my wife and I used it.
Started,
when-
founded by John Brocket.
Yeah, right. That's my company. So I
Well,
want
one
to throw this out there. But
I did say this is something that we should have thought of. But
yeah,
anyway,
so
go
it's
ahead.
it's
Sorry.
the Airbnb of rental cars. So now you can go on wherever you're going to be traveling to, or and put it in, and they'll show you a list of cars available. My wife and I did it in Tampa when we went down. Flew down there. The guy delivered the car to the airport. All we had to do was walk off the plane, get in the car, and drive away. And then we dropped it off there.
How nice is
And
that?
I'll tell you, it was half the price of any of the big rental car companies.
And you didn't have to wait in line.
Didn't have to wait in
Nice.
line and answer a bunch of questions. And,
Nice.
and they have an app, and the guy who or gal that you're running from can text you or message you on the app to, you can message them, and You've got communication with.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
really,
cool. You ever do
really
that,
cool.
David?
No, I didn't know about it.
I
And
didn't.
the other thing they're known for is you can rent some real high end.
So is this somebody like at home, like me or you, or that could just say, "Hey, you can rent my car"?
Yeah,
like
this guy was actually had a fleet. He had like 5.
Oh wow,
You could pick from any of his 5, and they went,
holy
from
cow.
and some, you can rent Lamborghinis, Mercedes, Land Rovers.
Holy cow.
So some real high end, nice cars if you want to go that route,
Wow.
and probably similar to renting a Camry from
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not
There you go.
sponsored.
So anyway, Turo.
Okay.
Download their app.
Yep.
Of course, you can go on their website and see all the available cars in the areas that you want to rent and save a lot of money.
There we go.
Man,
Okay.
learning from John B today,
Mhm.
this morning. You ready to get into random thoughts?
Yeah,
here?
let's do
All
it.
right, let's do some random thoughts. David B. Random thoughts.
So
David,
again,
go
you
ahead.
are listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. We got our very first time Hall of Famer John Brocket in studio with us, and so we'll get to high school football. But John Brocket went to and played football at Baylor University. What's your outlook on the Bears this year?
Well,
Big Lefty?
it's a little surprised that they were preseason 10th ranked.
What?
Top 10 preseason. I was very
I
surprised.
didn't realize that.
Yeah. So they lost a lot of players from last year's Sugar Bowl champion, Big 12 champion team, but they've got a coach, Dave Aranda, and this guy is he just might be the best football coach in America.
Wow.
And I'm saying that just because, not just because he's our coach, but his track record as a defensive coordinator is unprecedented at Wisconsin. Then he was at LSU. Became the Baylor head football coach, and this guy just gets it. He's a little different, he's a little odd. If you listen to his press conferences, he's kind of out there. It's on a different level of thinking. It's not your run of the mill, just hey, we're going to block and tackle and push him in the dirt and beat him up.
Mm-hmm.
He's just more. He's out there on a different level. He's a neat guy. You should just pull up one of his press conferences and listen to it. You'll enjoy it. And every time somebody asks him a question, he says thank you for that question. No matter what question it is, he says thank you for that question.
Thank
and
you.
then he answers it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for
Great
that question. Thank you for that
So
question.
they're ranked number 10, and it looks like, you know what? I've never heard of Texas State University. I can't remember that.
Texas State. Okay,
Have you
so
heard of
it
that,
used to be
David?
called Southwest Texas State.
Oh,
It's
okay.
down in San Marcos, Texas, which is down by San Antonio.
Okay, so they in Baylor's conference?
They are not.
Okay.
But they've, they get some good teams every now and then. It's somebody you don't want to play usually if you're a bigger school. You don't want to play them. They can be
D1?
tough. They are D1. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So your toughest game here, you guys looks like you got a schedule set up to be nice season for you.
Yeah. Well, not really, because last year it was set up better because we had Oklahoma and Texas at home, and this year we go on the road for Oklahoma and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're transferring over to the SEC.
What's going to happen with that Big 12?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
man.
So Big
Yeah,
12
let's talk about
added
that.
they added Cincinnati, which I'm
Okay.
happy about because it's not too far away.
right.
They've also added BYU. They've added Houston,
Okay.
and they've added UCF in Orlando.
Central Florida.
Yeah. So those
Which
are
is-
the four
Can
new.
be pretty good sometimes.
Exactly. And that just opens up the Big 12 for more geography. So now you've got a Florida market, you've got a Western market with BYU, you've got a Cincinnati market, which you didn't have before, and you've got the Houston market, which is a huge market. So I think they did well with their additions.
You already had the West Virginia market.
Oh, and think
nailed down,
think of basketball though. When you think of basketball, think of Cincinnati, Houston.
Yeah.
Those are two of the
Be pretty good.
pretty good basketball
Yeah.
programs as well to add to that. So I think the Big 12 did well in doing that. But what's going to happen is, who knows? It looks like it's going to be two gigantic conferences, the Big 10 and the SEC, and
Right.
everybody else will be playing for a second place
No,
trophy.
what do you think? Notre Dame's going to end up doing?
Well, they'll stay independent as long as they can
think
make.
they will?
They make so much money as an independent, and of course they're not independent in anything other than football.
But do you think, though, because I was thinking about this week, do you think, okay, so we're fans of the game. So for me, if Ohio State or Michigan or whoever's 11-1, and Alabama's 11-1, Georgia's 11-1, Texas A&M's 11-1, and Notre Dame's 12-0, I don't know if you could really say Notre Dame would be the number one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if you're playing those conference games,
yeah.
and now you got USC and UCLA moving into the Big Ten, right?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how Notre Dame's going to be able to play big-time non-conference games. I don't know what team's going to – is Alabama, Ohio State – I know they're playing them this year, but down the road, is Ohio State going to want to play
exactly
Notre Dame?
Exactly. No, they're not.
I mean, it's kind of risky, right?
Right. Well, I would go with at least 8. I would go with at least 8 teams in the playoff. I think you have to get up to 8.
Yeah.
This 4 teams, there's always questions of the 5th and the 6th, and I think with these gigantic conferences too, you've got to increase that to 8 overall.
Well, yeah,
teams.
I think you're right.
I mean, if those lower level conferences or leagues like divisions, if they can do that, why can't D1 get
Right.
that done or whatever? Just
Right.
thinking.
Oh, that's right. I mean, because if I was the Big Ten Conference and I had theoretically this could happen. You could have USC 11-1, Michigan 11-1, Ohio State 11-1, Notre Dame's 12-0. They just come off playing Arkansas State, right?
Right.
And it's like, what?
Notre Dame traditionally plays.
They play tough schools.
They do, but like you were saying, they're not going to want to play them anymore.
I wouldn't want to play them if I was Ohio State.
There's not going to be those cupcakes anymore, is there? I mean, there's not going to be room for anybody.
I think that's
to play
what
those
this
cupcakes.
forces them to do, David,
Yeah,
is to
yeah.
take the cupcakes out because you didn't.
No, Appalachian State.
Right.
Although aren't those the best
Although they
when
beat
they
Michigan though, didn't they?
Yeah,
That was
aren't
awesome.
those the best
Hell
upsets? I mean, my
That
gosh.
was Michigan's low of the low,
Yeah.
where they were just
Yeah.
the lowest.
Was that
right?
a Rich Rod year? I think it was. Was that a Rich Rod year? I think.
Yeah, it's
Who
like
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I think it was because that's the reason why he lost his damn job.
But that's what people love about college sports is when Lehigh beats Duke in the
College
NCAA basketball tournament. Now, what if they just said the tournament's only for your big division schools and that's it? We don't include the Lehighs of the world.
Right.
I mean, in football, it's the same way. You're gonna get these upsets that are just what makes it neat.
it does.
Yep.
It's almost like they need to play an extra game
Right.
sometimes.
Right.
But 8 to 10 would be nice. What are they talking about doing? Where's it at? 4 now? So it's still 4, right?
Yeah. Still
So-
4.
Gosh, that does suck though, because I mean, you think if you're top 5, right? You should be in the top 6.
Yeah.
You got to make it even number, but
Yeah.
8 would be nice. 10 would be nice.
Right.
And like David said, take out the fluffy marshmallow games.
Right.
Take out the Ohio State playing Miami University in Ohio, right?
NAIA does 16. Why can't D1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
the NCAA basketball that you just mentioned has expanded it.
Right.
They've been able to expand to more teams.
Right.
The
Right.
break-in
You've got-
entry games.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and that's been great. And some of those teams that are
Unbelievable.
they keep going, they get hot, and they just keep winning. So yeah, they've got to expand it out to 8 teams.
Although Indiana lost their buy-in game, remember that?
They did, yeah.
God, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Right.
Man, who'd they lose to? It was like somebody that I can't remember, but it's like they've had some embarrassing losses in the Big Ten or in the tournament
They really have.
recently.
Well, they haven't been in the tournament
No, I know,
much at
yeah.
all. Although I understand that people are pretty excited about this year's team for Indiana. So
I hope so. They
yeah, I'm talking basketball. I'm not.
basketball.
I'm not talking
yeah,
football.
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
suck in football.
Well, I mean,
Again.
Let's
That goes
talk-
without saying, though.
yeah. Let's talk about that though, because I was thinking about that too. The Big Ten. What's that really do? Who's more negatively affected by Oregon, USC, UCLA moving into Big Ten. I just would think if you're IU,
Yeah.
Northwestern,
Yeah.
Purdue,
Yeah.
Iowa, Nebraska, Rutgers, Maryland, I think you're
Yeah, but to be part of that conference, though, I mean, you're still. What are the schools making? $100 million off of revenue?
Oh, that new contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge,
That's
man.
huge money.
Per school.
Yeah. I was
Huge
happy the
money.
Big Ten, proud of them for flipping off the
They only
ones
did
didn't
that,
want-
I think, because of what the SEC
Right.
is doing. So they just had to. They thought they had to do the same thing.
So what do you think, John? You think Texas A&M's going to be? Think they're going to be?
Well, I heard they spent more on NIL than anybody else. Does that surprise you, really?
No.
So they're trying to buy their team. I mean, Nick Saban said, the Alabama coach said, he's crying and whining because
Yeah.
he used to get all these
Right.
number one top
Right.
recruits. Now A&M's
Yeah.
getting them, and he doesn't like it.
I'm sure Alabama never spent any money on any players.
No,
Oh, never.
They've been the most ethical university out there.
Mhm.
Who are you kidding?
Right.
Nick Saban wouldn't do that. He wins with his heart.
What do you
right.
What do you think an O lineman's going to get? 50 a year, 50K, 100K?
You talking about under this new NIL deal?
Mhm.
I think it depends. If you're one of the top linemen, you probably make more than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible.
Right.
And you can market yourself and make unlimited, right?
Yeah.
Or-
I heard Texas, they got a kid from Ohio State that transferred there to the Texas Longhorns. Now, I heard that they promised him $1 million in NIL for his 1 year,
What's the position they play?
quarterback.
Wow.
And then they got Arch Manning is coming in.
Oh yeah, he'll
And
be
so-
good too. I've watched video of him. You
I
ever watch
wonder.
video of him?
I haven't heard how much they've offered him, but it has to be more than
Like
that.
10 mil.
It might be 10 mil.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Who
Have you
knows?
watched any video of him?
I have.
He's
yeah.
not bad.
No, he's not
Pretty
bad.
good.
He reminds me a lot of Peyton.
Yeah.
He really does.
They say Archie Manning, the grandfather, always said that the other boy that never played
Yeah.
got hurt.
Cooper.
He was the better athlete
Yeah.
of them all,
Yeah.
which is kind of hard to believe. But
Yeah. Well, I think he was. I mean, he actually played receiver, and Peyton threw touchdown
At that-
passes
yeah,
to him
yeah,
in
right.
high school, right? And then
Yeah.
he went to Ole Miss and was going to be a receiver there, but then he got
got hurt.
and couldn't play anymore. Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is
And
interesting.
that's his boy.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Cooper's boy,
Cooper's boy.
is this Arch.
Yeah.
He's going to be something.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to watch to see how that pans out.
Right.
The,
Especially since this Ohio State transfer is only basically this will be his first year, so they'll both be there next year, fighting probably for the starting job. It'll be
well, so the quarterback that you're talking about, because Ohio State's got a pretty good quarterback right now.
McEwen, I think is his name.
So he wasn't gonna get because the kid there now at Ohio State's young.
Right. That's why he.
Yeah.
I think that's why he transferred. That and the $1 million.
Right.
That didn't hurt.
Oh, gosh.
That didn't hurt his decision at all.
You man, what's Cincinnati's quarterback's name? Bengals.
Burrow.
Burrow. So you think about Burrow transferred to LSU out of Ohio State.
That's right. That's right.
No money.
That's right.
You think about the money aspect of it. So is there a cap on what they could pay him? John?
Doesn't seem to be.
Really?
Doesn't seem to be.
Well, think about the money the NCAA or those schools make off of them kids anyway.
Oh, right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, they make a lot. I just wonder. I don't know what the rules are. Do you guys know what the rules?
They're pretty cloudy.
So you
There-
could just
there's
sign a guy
rules?
for $10 million?
Yeah, and basically there has to be some way that he's earning that money, but you could have a booster buy, 100,000 of his jerseys and say, here's $1 million, and they just give the jerseys away or whatever, so.
Man, what do you think about this?
I think it's crazy. I think it's absolutely crazy.
I think they should get revenue sharing. I just don't know
yeah.
what's the right. But I mean, I guess if the university's making money off them too, I mean, Dave, does your company have a picture of you out there? I mean, you should be getting. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
You could get
NIL.
yeah.
I mean,
NIL.
that's a great point. That's an absolutely great point. Why can't we do that with, the corporations that we all work
Get our
for.
face out
or,
there.
or and like Big Lefty's lucky to be retired, but
Yeah.
I mean the corporations that you and I work for.
Right.
One of the trucks going down the road's
Yeah.
got Tony's producer Tony.
Yeah, that would be nice, right?
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just think it's a whole big can of worms that needs to be figured out at some point. But right away, you mentioned Texas A&M; they have taken full advantage of it.
Yeah, I've heard.
And they had
them
they had the
complain about
highest, best ranked recruiting class by
Yeah,
far
in the
of,
country,
of
right?
anybody. Right?
it. Wow, you just think the NCAA would put some stipulations in
You
there
would.
that would be like, man, you can't.
Yeah.
Because
and
you-
who's monitoring all this to see if if this is legit or if it's just
Right.
some booster writing a big check and handing it to the guy?
I think Nick Saban and him, when they play each other, are going to shake hands. Or do you think there'll be?
That'll
some
be
shout-
interesting to see. That'll be interesting to see.
But so what you're so then if I'm Harvard, Harvard's one of the richest colleges in the
Yeah,
world.
right. They have the
200
biggest
Are they
endowment.
are they all of a sudden going to be like?
Hey, we want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would take their administration to decide it. Hey, do we want to go this route?
Hey, let's just buy them.
Right.
Harvard wins the national championship.
Oh, yeah, Harvard's-
first time since 1980.
Harvard's number one.
Yeah, Harvard's number one. Brown and Columbia.
Well,
It's
then
gone
you
back
then
to
you
the-
think about what about these service academies? You've got Army, Navy, Air Force.
Well, I can't pay them.
They can't do that.
Maybe they'll have to. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah.
All right, David B. You got some.
So there's some high school scores from last
Yeah.
night. I don't know if any of you.
Let's hit 'em up.
Yeah. So locally, New Pal put the butt whooping
Yeah.
on who was it they played? Sorry, I'm not.
Decatur
I'm not-
Central.
oh,
Decatur
yeah.
Central.
Decatur Central. That's
Which
a big
was
school.
That's a
was
big
was a preseason pretty high ranked team. So that
So-
surprised when I saw that score, I was surprised.
Yeah.
what so New Pal. What's their mascot? What's their,
Dragons.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a weird, different name. That's
Friendly dragons. Yeah.
cool. That's cool. So
It's a dragon with wings.
Lutheran. Who did they whoop on Big Lefty?
Cardinal Ritter, I couldn't believe that score.
Cardinal Ritter. I mean, back in the day,
They were
Cardinal Ritter, that was a powerhouse.
powerhouse. Yep.
Wow.
You didn't mess with
So,
Cardinal Ritter.
right. So, Brownsburg
Then,
beat Cathedral.
Center Grove snuck by Carmel. But what a game. It was at Center Grove, and I think they was it 28-27? Very close.
Out of Center Grove. I always feel like I meet somebody from Center Grove all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just like last night I'd met a young
That's-
kid from Center
I'll tell you
Grove.
what
That's how
though,
I
that
feel
would
about
be
Carmel.
a great
So you said Cathedral lost.
Cathedral lost, yes, to Brownsburg.
They were ranked number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, wow.
Brownsburg is a bigger school.
they're number 3.
They're 6A, right?
Yeah.
And Cathedral is 5A, I believe.
New Pal's number 4. Westfield's 5. Maryville, Fishers, Zionsville's 10th. David, Carmel's ranked 12.
Zionsville's 10th and 5A?
This is just the Max Prep ranking. It doesn't break them down, but yeah, you're right. No, they're not. Hang on. Noblesville's in there. Ben Davis is in Bishop, Mooresville, Carmel. Wait a minute. Carmel's 0-1?
Yeah, they lost to Center Grove last night by I think
Wait, they're 0-2.
Carmel's 0-2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was, yeah. So I don't know who they lost to.
Oh, darn. Carmel's 0-2.
They lost to Center Grove.
That was last night.
And then it looks like it's got them here 0-2. Home 0-1, away 0-1. Yeah, so maybe wait, let me see here. Oh yeah, go ahead, David.
Zionsville beat Lebanon. Let's see here. Guess I should have done some homework instead of thumbing through here at the last minute.
They lost to Trinity High School out of Louisville.
Okay, they're a powerhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Western Boone won. Westfield won.
it's a tough way to start the season, man.
I think Western Boone has taken all the Lebanon players over there.
Lebanon's never had a good football team. Or I can't think of the last time they ever had a good football team. Oh, I went to Little Bitty Clinton Prairie. They're definitely not in the win column this week, so I'm thumbing through to see the loss column to see who they got beat by. So, but anyway.
Yeah, they've got. What'd you say, Dave? What was?
Well, you know what's hard to believe is that they're already in week 2 of the. It's not even September yet,
right?
And there's already week 2 of the high school football season.
Yeah,
it starts so early.
And
now.
high school football is only 9 weeks.
I remember when the preseason, your scrimmage game, your preseason scrimmage game was at the end of August, and your first
around
game
Labor Day, right?
was after
came back to school
after Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you didn't
and that
play
wasn't
before.
That wasn't that long ago.
No.
It's gotten just so early now.
We scrimmaged right until Labor Day, and then you played after Labor Day. I think I played after Labor Day.
Yeah, that was
Labor Day because you came back to school after Labor Day weekend.
Right.
So, Big Lefty, have you done any preseason Colts games this year or yet?
I did. I went to the Lions game, and I had the Hard Knocks. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Hard Knocks Lions. Yeah, and they had the camera crew right by us. There was a man and his wife whose son was out playing for the Lions, and they were filming right in front of us there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think his name was Pemberton.
Do they play today or do they play this weekend at all?
Yeah, they play tonight. It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's supposed to be playing tonight for Tampa Bay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He probably won't play very long, would he?
I would think one series. I would think one
John's
series.
all drunk there by the camera. I had sex with all these men. You're like, what? What are you
right. And they put me on Hard Knocks. You're like, look at this fan. He's I'm only here for the Lions players.
I really like these Lions players.
I've had relations with a lot of them.
Hey, you know something that was funny that I found I rediscovered recently. I think it was last weekend. Remember Mayo Teo?
Manti Tao.
Oh my gosh!
Do you remember that story?
Yes, I do. I just saw something on that not too long ago.
Is this on Netflix?
Yeah,
my gosh, that's the most unbelievable thing.
Unbelievable, man.
It really is.
Yeah, total complete catfish. Right? But
yeah,
was he in on it? I think he might have.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, but I don't think he was.
Well, yeah, I don't think he initially was, and then I think he tried to cover it up a little.
Oh yeah,
bit.
he's embarrassed.
Yeah,
I
would be too.
I would. Yeah, because the girl he was in love with is really some dude.
Totally fake. Yeah, it was a dude.
What? So what happened with that, or whatever happened with that story?
It kind of went away after a while, but
essentially, David, he fell in love with somebody that wasn't real.
Yeah, and then remember she died, and he was crying. Supposedly,
but she didn't die.
No, she didn't die. It was all made up. But then he was crying about it, and he dedicated the game to her. He was out there knocking trophy. He was out there knocking heads around for her, and she doesn't even exist really. She's just she's a made up person. Yeah, unbelievable.
It was a dude that ended up being today they're transgender.
Right.
It was a guy that became a girl.
Yeah.
And essentially, like.
So he had a picture of some really gorgeous girl that was supposedly the one that Manti Teo was in love with, but he never met her. They only communicated via.
There were voicemails too, and she could
change her voice.
Change her voice, yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the focus be on how disturbed whoever the hell this was to do this to somebody?
For sure.
And it really.
Sure.
No, I know. Well, what's crazy is, what's unique about that story to me was. Like you said, there should have, because the university was just like, they didn't know how to handle the story.
So this is when he was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Right.
So they know at one point, Notre Dame knows this is all fake. They've done an investigation on their own. So they know this is all fake. And he's not really coming clean with it because he's embarrassed by it.
Exactly.
And he doesn't want to lose his job, so.
So John, this weekend, John Brocket and I are going to do an experiment. And I bet you that we'll come across some people. I'm going to ask some people randomly in BFE, West Virginia, where they think Notre Dame University is, and I bet there's people that get it wrong.
Right.
Oh, I bet.
Just
Hardly anybody.
I bet a lot of people couldn't tell you where Baylor University is.
Right.
Just saying.
Right. But Notre Dame is, you're right. That's one of the most well-known, iconic universities around. And I would say that most people in America don't really know that it's in Indiana. They would have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think it's out east or it's in Chicago.
Right. Maybe.
But Indiana, they're like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't know that.
Yep.
South Bend.
We're gonna do that this week, and I'll report back next week.
Yeah,
what the perception of,
because I bet
Notre
they
Dame
don't know.
University is.
Because you think about that, I mean, it's where's USC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people would be like Southern Cal. Yeah, it's in Southern Cal, but it's in LA, right?
Right.
And then
South
UCLA's in LA.
South Central LA.
Yeah.
So it's walled off basically, and around the outside of the campus, pretty rough.
Oh, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Cardinal Ritter.
Whereas UCLA is in Westwood, which
It's a
is
little nicer, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, that's a high.
This is brought to you by Westwood One Radio.
Yeah.
That's where it's out of, right?
Westwood One, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful community.
Here in about a year, Westwood One will wish they were us.
Yeah, exactly. Westwood One takes second place to Ship's Gonna Happen streaming service. Yeah.
Hey, maybe they'll buy you.
Oh, yeah,
Wouldn't that be
that'd
great?
be nice.
David and I are for sale.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we'll promote any college kid out there for a little money.
Yeah, where's our NIL money or
Yeah.
whattever?
What's that stand for? NIL.
Name, image, likeness.
Name, image, likeness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what's his Alabama's coach name? Nick Saban.
Saban.
This is Nick Saban. They're buying everybody. They're
Well,
buying every
buying
team player in the country.
Hold on a second. He's the highest paid state employee in Alabama.
Yeah.
Right.
Take a pay cut.
That's
man.
okay.
Right?
Oh,
Take a pay cut, Nick.
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know that he's only one letter away from Satan.
Hey, this is Nick Saban, damn it. I own everybody.
The show has just been brought up a notch this week, thanks to Big Lefty. Well said. Well
nice.
said. Dang.
I own every damn body.
Yeah.
Nick Saban. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he should make $7 or $8 million a year, and his players not get paid.
Yeah. No, he's never paid anybody.
Well, he's just mad that he's not getting the top recruits
top players,
anymore.
sure.
I mean, how do you win all those national titles? You get
Right.
all the top
Yeah.
5 stars.
So what's the guy's name at Texas A&M that coached underneath?
Jimbo Fisher?
Yeah,
Yep.
so Jimbo Fisher, I liked his. You see his response?
I don't remember.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
He
man.
kind of blew it off, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
kind of, but he had a nice response though. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's Nick. Oh no, Nick's never, gotten any players. It's
yeah.
all on the up and up.
Sarcastic.
It's all good.
Very
I
sarcastic.
gotcha.
He's like, "Oh yeah, Nick's never done anything wrong."
Right.
Yeah. It was funny,
Right.
but that's funny. But Saban going off on it though.
Yeah.
It's like the old Woody Hayes and
Well,
Bo Schembechler.
Another
stuff.
great college recruiting story is Eric Dickerson.
Oh yeah,
When
SMU.
Yeah, but when he was in high school, a Texas
Great running
A&M
back.
alum bought him a gold Trans Am, and they put it in his mom's name, like his mom bought it. And she had told Eric she was going to play along and say she bought the car for him. He kept it and signed with SMU and still drove that. So I laugh at the Aggies when they, do stuff
Yeah.
like that and then they get burned. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
a funny story.
hilarious.
And to this day, Eric Dickerson will admit, now that it's been this long, he said A&M bought it for me and I didn't go there. So
Wow.
Yeah,
Funny.
well, I've heard some. Go ahead, David. You have something?
No, you keep going. I was going to change the subject just a second.
I had seen something recently on YouTube where I think I can't remember who it was. One pro basketball players was saying just that, like, you go where you get more.
yeah,
You're going where you get more. It might have been Klein Drexler, because he had a lot of college recruiting,
oh yeah,
and he was like, "Well, you go where
Yeah.
you're gonna get." He goes, "Everybody's doing it." He
Yeah.
goes, "They're all lying."
But does this NIL stuff take like a Notre Dame and Northwestern and a whoever out of it, because
Makes it
they're still
harder.
the academics.
I think
I
it
mean,
makes it harder.
while they
Well-
have the money, you still have to have.
I think it makes it harder.
whatever
Okay.
brains to go.
And you have to have an alumni base that is concerned about sports. So
Sure.
take Harvard, like you were saying, they have a lot of wealthy alumni. They have an
They got
endowment.
every sport.
They have an endowment
imaginable.
bigger than any. But do they have the support of those people to put their money into sports, or would they rather put their money into facilities, education, the right things? So
Yeah, right.
then you go to A&M. They've got a lot of wealthy alum.
Yeah.
And they put it
Ton
all.
of 'em.
And they put it all
Got a lot
into
of actors and
it's all-
actresses.
It's all into sports.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
so it's the philosophy of the school.
I got you.
Really is kind of so. Northwestern, for example, they got a lot of money. They
They
got
do.
a lot of, you know.
And they could go 6-6 for the next 20 years, and Pat Fitzgerald just live it. Yep, we're good. We're fine with being 6-6. You know.
Yeah, I don't think he would say that necessarily, but
no.
but the
I-
school
the
school will
would.
be okay with it. I
That's
don't
my
think
point.
Pat Fitzgerald's okay.
completely my
That's
point.
what you meant.
Yeah,
You meant
yes.
the school.
My
yeah,
bad.
I see what you're saying.
My bad.
Yeah,
'Cause
they're not gonna fire him over 6-6.
Right.
Right.
Because one thing that's never going to happen is IU and Purdue and Northwestern, maybe another school or two, it's probably not ever going to sniff a Big Ten championship again in football.
Here are the
Anytime soon, at least.
I would say it'd be very difficult.
Wow.
Yep. Mhm.
Very, very difficult.
Here are the
Mhm.
largest right here: Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Princeton, MIT, Notre Dame,
Mhm.
Northwestern.
Could you get in?
I would never have guessed that. They have the 8th largest
endowment?
Yeah.
I could see
Wow.
that. I mean, there's a ton of money that goes to that school.
Yeah.
You know what I looked up the other day was toughest schools to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern was the only one in the Big Ten that was listed as elite. It's ranked up there with like Princeton, Harvard,
Stanford.
Yale. Yeah.
If you had to, if you were enrolling in college today, do you think you could get in?
No, probably not.
I
It's
couldn't
tough
have
today.
got in back when I was trying, but
Yeah.
today for sure I couldn't
Yeah.
get in.
Mm-mm.
Maybe
way.
There's
maybe
no
got
way.
in at
No way.
Tri-State University,
Mm-hmm.
Tri-County University. Yeah.
Isn't it trying?
TBU
Yeah,
University.
It's trying now, I
Trying.
think.
Or, well, I meant like I'm
Oh, I
just
thought-
saying randomly,
yeah.
like
Right.
County University.
TBU
Right.
University. Tony B University. I could get into that one.
Yeah, exactly. couldn't get into my own.
So let's talk about Marion for a second. Are they
they're
Marion.
preseason ranked?
I've always felt like NAIA was kind of their entry point, that they want to get bigger. Do you agree with that still?
Completely. And as much as I don't want to see it happen, I get it that it's going to probably happen. I'm surprised they haven't been bumped up to D2 already.
Uh-huh.
And they in the last few years, their sports program has made an effort. You know, we had UIndy on the calendar for 2 consecutive years, and it was going to be a
Rivalry.
the crosstown classic thing. And
It
of
was going to be
course-
Cal Stanford all over again.
yeah, and then
yeah.
UIndy gets their backsides handed to them 2
Uh-huh.
consecutive years and then pulls out.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
you know, you're just like, that was weird.
Yeah.
But so they're preseason ranked 5th, and it should be a good football season. The first home game is next Saturday. Those of you that would like to come, you're more than welcome. I have my 2 spots back again this year. But going back to Big Lefty's question, it's probably going to happen soon. And I've even heard some people recently say, that they might just go D1. So,
yeah, skip it altogether.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
That would be amazing. I don't know if that's happened before.
I'm not sure.
But
But that campus is
what I
growing.
can tell
Did
you,
your kid go there, John?
yeah,
That's what I
Mhm.
thought.
Yeah, Kyle. Yep.
He played football, right?
Yeah, the first one of the first teams there.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
Mhm.
one of the first football teams
This
there.
is season 15.
This is going back a
Mhm.
few years, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Those were fun.
But what I
God.
can tell you is there has been precedent for NAIA schools going D1, and one would be Abilene Christian. That comes to mind. They used to
Okay.
be a NAIA school,
Mhm,
and now they're D1 football.
Oh,
so
wow.
it does happen.
We played Tiffin last year, and Tiffin came here, and so this weekend was actually supposed to be the first game, and it was TBA. So I thought, they'll be going to Tiffin, and then for whatever reason, that game got taken off the calendar. So they only have 9 games. So Should be an exciting season. It's always fun to go on campus, and I'm excited for next Saturday.
I'm looking up the rankings, David. It looks like Indiana has 2 teams ranked in the top 20, with Indiana Wesleyan and Marion ranked 5th, like you said.
Yep. Friend of the show, Mac Dutra has his brother goes to Indiana Wesleyan.
Yeah.
So.
And Mac went to Marion. Yeah.
He was a 4-year starter.
Bam, boom. Big boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw him last week. He's huge.
So you guys are headed
to Thomas, West Virginia.
You're headed to catch this band
Bella's
live.
Bartok. Thank you to Bella's Bartok for allowing us to use your music.
Yeah, thank you. Man, this is going to be fun. You guys going to send some pictures?
Sure. Yep.
Don't get in any trouble.
Yeah, we won't. There's not much out there.
Well, and a couple of months ago on the CBS morning show, Sunday morning show, they did a feature on West Virginia, and one of the places the guy featured was the Purple Fiddle, which is where this
is where we're going.
That's where I saw their video before.
Okay.
That's where you're headed, to that?
Yeah, it's a very iconic music venue and sits in the kind of the middle of nowhere, right?
Yep. Little bitty Thomas, West Virginia, right before the Maryland line. We'll have a nice smooth terrain for about the first 6.5 hours, and then it kind of goes into poop mode, where you kind of got to watch where you're going, and it gets
a lot of windy roads.
roads. And
they're great on the ice. Dave drove them on the ice one time. Yeah,
we had an poop moment coming back one time. Yeah, the back side of my truck, and there's nothing but straight down. The back side of my truck went whoop. Yeah, John's like, keep it on the road, Dave. I'm like, I'm trying.
Stay in your lane, bro.
Stay in your lane.
Man, John, I'm glad you came in today.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
John Brocket's always good to have the Hall of Famer on.
So you taking shirts, Dave, today?
We could. I guess we don't have to.
Well, you don't. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want you to go to the trouble to get shirts. Is it an issue to get them?
No. To go grab them?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
What sizes do you want?
I'd say like 5 medium, 3 small, and maybe 2 large.
Yeah.
Something like that. I hate to. I
don't think the band would wear them during the concert.
That's what I was asking Dave.
Yeah, cool. I would love to get a picture of them with all of them with their shirts on. So
you know who would? Crisco.
Yeah, hell yeah, he would. Hell yes, he would. So yeah,
all right.
Episode 77.
We had to beep Dave out there.
Yeah.
Say that, Dave.
Getting a little
episode
77.
I didn't know if you wanted me to cuss again.
Say 77. You were saying what now?
Episode 77. Hard to believe. We're pushing. We're already planning like a 100th episode.
Show.
What to do with that? We might have to maybe have some people call in before and record him, or maybe
we could.
I don't want to.
Yeah, no, we could.
Just to try to help you.
Yeah, we could have them call in at times, or tell them we're going to call them at certain times.
Okay. That'd be good.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people we could have on.
So. I know.
That'd be a good way to do it. Yeah. Have your all-star cast.
All-star lineup.
Boom.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot.
No problem, John.
It's good to have you.
It's awesome, dude.
Always fun. Always good to catch up with you guys and see what's going on in the world of transportainment.
Yeah.
I got it right.
Hey, John, give us. This is John Brocket. You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show.
This is John Brocket. You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show right here with Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Can we do one more? Can you?
Thanks, Tim, for letting me sit in your seat.
There we go. Can you do one more by saying this is the original Hall of Famer, John Brocket?
I can't do that.
I can't
do that.
Do this. This is the first Hall of Fame inductee. Or no. This is Johnny B.
You can brag on yourself, Big Lefty.
I can't do that, Dave.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. All good.
But I do appreciate you guys calling me that. But thanks.
You boys be safe today. Be safe driving.
We'll do.
Ship's Gonna Happen out.